Leonard's team. I've said many times that I've got so much respect for him and the job he's done at Florida State. I don't think he's ever really gotten the credit that he deserves with the way they coach the game and the way they do it. And I think it's a typical Leonard Hamilton team that likes to get up in the passing lanes, pressure you, and they rebound the ball. They run what they want to run. We came out and really the turnovers at the start of the game where we dug ourselves in a big hole, and a number of those early were just unforced turnovers that we just threw the ball to throw it and to get rid of it. But again, you've got to give them credit for that. But with that said, I was really impressed with our team, the way they fought back. They kept digging in defensively and working hard. And as bad as we were on the offensive end, when you allow a team to shoot the ball, 12 more times and you do it, it's hard to win. And when you give people 24 points in transition, felt like we, as a team, we put too much on Devante, and he was trying to do what he does. He's such a competitive player, and then I think it got to a point where he tried to do too much, and he would tell you that. But some of that goes back on his teammates, where they've got to be and put themselves in position where they can be a part of it, as opposed to hiding. I was really impressed with our freshmen for the most part. I thought those guys, this tournament's going to be good for them. This game's going to be good for them. Again, I'm not surprised that we fought back the way we did. We're with these guys every day, and we've got guys that are going to, and we're going to grow up. I would have never thought coming in here that we would have 3 freshmen on the floor at various times throughout the game, especially in the last 4 minutes, but we did. And so going forward, that's going to help us. We're disappointed because we didn't play as well as we're capable of. But this time of year, this is what these tournaments are for, to let us find out some things about ourselves. And we certainly did that.
How disappointing are the 21 turnovers, knowing the way Florida State was under pressure?
It is, because we talked about it so much, and when we did the things, but it's not always the guy with the ball. It's other guys knowing they're going to have to cut hard to get open. And again, with freshmen this time of year, you kind of see it. Lamonte, again, he just told the team it was his fault, the start of the game, because he did some things uncharacteristic, almost like he took the pressure personally, like, okay, I'm going to get by these guys, which he's capable of doing that. But again, it didn't let us get ourselves in sync. And then now you're trying to fight, scratch to get back into the game, but we definitely need Jordan Bowden and John Fulkerson. They've got to realize they're in different roles than they were a year ago. And every night we've got to know what we're going to get from those guys. Fulky ends up with how many shots? 2 shots, and that's on him. I mean, they're looking for him, but he can't allow himself to be pushed off the lane, especially with a team that's going to swarm. And when the ball goes in there, attack the post, fighting for that space closer to the rim where they've got further to dig and come from. And too many turnovers where, again, we talked about when you drive, they swarm the ball, guys losing the ball. But yeah, it's disappointing when we know that we can handle pressure, but we didn't. And then at the end of the game, with all that said and done, it came down with, we gave up a big offensive rebound with a chance to come down and that we could have possibly tied the game. And then at the end, we knew they would trap there in the corner, and we made the wrong read there that we would like to make. But again, we'll learn from it.
Rick, how do you coach that out of Lamonte, taking that pressure personally?
Well, I like to think he's old enough he'll look at it himself. He took the blame in the locker room. He told the guys, he said, it's on me. I put us in a hole from the beginning. And he's in a different role too. I mean, he's learning that too. But another big play that, when he drove and had 5 guys around him, he's got to trust his teammates. But with that said, they've got to, I mean, we know our guys every day, and we read their body language, and we can tell when they're in sync, and when that doesn't happen. We had a couple shots early that bounced in and out. I mean, that's one of the hardest basketballs you play with, and both teams have to play with it, but it's a hard ball. It really is. But the fact of the matter is, Lamonte will learn. I mean, he's turned the ball over way too much in the last couple games, and you're right that he's going to have to figure that out.
Devante, I mean, you seem to lean a lot on him tonight. How did you feel like he responded to
I thought he
this?
was terrific, but he's been terrific the last 2 weeks where he's doing exactly what we need. Now, he gave up that offensive rebound, but he's the lightest guy on the floor, and I think when I look at it, I'm gonna probably show him where he probably thought he was going out and jump somebody, and he does have a 7'2" wingspan, but that was a big play, and he'll learn from that, but I do trust him. I do, because you know what he does, he's a competitor. I mean, he's gonna compete. He's got, for a guy his age and the way he is, he's not afraid. He'll go out and he's not afraid to take his shots. He's not afraid to mix it up. And but we've seen that, and I said all summer that he was the biggest surprise of this recruiting class. When we first got him, he committed to us a long time ago. We even thought we might redshirt him, but based on what he did this summer, we said, he improved probably more than anybody on the team.
Tonight where you need Jordan Bowden to press the issue a little bit more.
He's got to press the issue. He's got to, and he's gonna have to. He's not gonna get clean looks. He's gonna have to learn to work harder and be more intense and make more of an effort. Because people aren't gonna give him a lot of wide open looks. And he had some looks at it. He did, but he's gonna have to press the issue because we need him to do that.
Coach, how do you prepare for a team with a length like Florida State, or is there a way to prepare for it?
Yeah, again, it's the way we started the game, to be quite honest with you, and they didn't do anything that we didn't expect. They didn't. Leonard's team are so sound and solid. You know what you're going to get when you go out of there. A couple of those passes we threw, I'm like, what are we doing? And those type plays put you in a hole, gets them going, and then you're fighting uphill. It takes a lot out of you to keep fighting back, and then you start pressing, and you start trying to, come down, make one play and hope you're going to score, and that's where we'll learn from this, where we've got to really count on each other. But, we've got some in practice, we've got length in practice. We practice against Urosh, who's 7 foot tall, and Drew Pember 6'10", Folky 6'9", but they do a lot of switching, which is fine with that. We work against that, but we've just got to we can't play with one offensive player on the floor. We can't do that. We got to have more guys that are going to press it a little bit and know where their shots are coming from and demand the ball.
Two more. What do you think from Josiah tonight?
I think he's making the strides we need him to make. I do think that. He's going to learn from a lot of different things that he goes through, and he does a really nice job on the ball. I thought his ball defense has really improved. That's where I think he's gotten better the last 2 games, where he's really starting to take it more personal to be a better defensive player. And when he's on the ball with his length, he can create some deflections for us and do some of those type things. But he also is going to have to, like, he turned down a jump shot, a wide open shot, and what happens when you start turning down shots and you drive the ball into rotations, you end up turning it over. We did that, I guarantee you, 3 times tonight. If you press the issue and guys are open, they should shoot their shots. And that's an open shot is better than trying to drive the ball and get it stripped or again, turn the ball over. And those are the things that we can learn. And I think we're a good shooting team, believe it or not. And he had some shots, and when you miss one, you got to keep shooting them, especially if there are shots that you practice.
Any concern with your rotation turnaround play tomorrow?
No, we'll have to do what we need to do. Everybody's gonna have to do it. But I thought both teams played hard. They obviously have more depth right now. Depth that's working for them. But it goes back. We practice 3 days hard all the time for much longer than these games, and so we should be able to handle it.
Thank you, Coach.
All right, thank you guys.